Shalom. Man, am I excited. I just got this in the mail today. You can see it's a pretty big book, pretty thick. It is the New Testament books in Hebrew. You can see on this side of the page it's Hebrew, and over on this side of the page it's word for word, literal translation, English. No King James, no NIV or anything like that. It's literal. Well, there's a couple of reasons I'm so excited, because first of all, I'm teaching myself to read and write Hebrew, and I've been having a lot of fun doing that. I can look at some Hebrew words like you see here on the top, and I can read that this here says Hadasha. I thought it would say Brit Hadasha, but it's actually Katuba Hadasha. And what fun it was for me to look at that and say, that's not a B, that's not the Bet, and figure it out. So, I mean, now I can look at the Hebrew of the New Testament books, and if there's a question, I can zero in on that word. I can look at the meaning of the word, but even more so, each letter of each word reveals so much in-depth information, and that's what I'm looking forward to doing. And of course, I can do that with the Old Testament, but point number 2 about why I'm so excited is, I've said for years the New Testament books were originally written in Hebrew, and everyone would attack me for that. People get so angry. It's like, well, the most ancient manuscripts we have are all in Greek. You can't say that. If Abba Father chose to give us these, his word in Greek, and I'm like, you know what, that's walking by sight, not by faith. I mean, just because the oldest manuscripts we have are in Greek, that's going by your sight. Oh, he must have written it in Greek. But rather, I go by faith, and also by common sense. I mean, everything about Abba Father Yahweh is Hebrew. The first language that he gave is Hebrew. His chosen nation, when he divorced himself from everyone on earth and decided to create his own nation, that nation is Hebrew. All the Old Testament books are written in Hebrew. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's not going to all of a sudden, the New Testament, I'm not going to use the Kodesh language. That just doesn't make sense to me. And all the guys who wrote the New Testament books, they're Jews. And they considered it blasphemy to speak any other language other than Hebrew or Aramaic in the synagogue or in the temple. Do you think they're going to write the inspired, Elohim-breathed word of Yahweh in any other language? No, I just refuse. And for years I says, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care about proof at all. I believe Hebrew. Well, now, finally, there's been manuscripts discovered, really back in 1954. I'll show you a picture of them in a minute. But they date back, they're 200 years older than the oldest Greek manuscripts we have, and it's the entire New Testament written in Aramaic and preserved by the Netzarim. That would be what you're more familiar with as the Nazarenes, those who lived in Nazareth, the town Yeshua is from. They spoke Aramaic. And, when Paul and actually Shaul and Peter, actually Kepha, and all those guys were spreading the gospel spread to the west in Greek, but it also spread to the east in Aramaic. And that's where this codex, these ancient manuscripts, come from. In fact, take a look at this. What you're looking at is the Khabouris Codex, dated 164 CE. In the Greek-based New Testament world, there are some 2,200 different New Testament translations, confusing and contrary to each other, where the Aramaic New Testament Church of the East has one New Testament record that spans over 1,800 years. The Eastern Aramaic Peshitta family contains 360 manuscripts that reveal breathtaking accuracy to each other. This Aramaic manuscript predates the oldest Greek texts by about 200 years. So here we see, this is new information. And of course, not really all that new. This manuscript of the entire New Testament in Hebrew Aramaic, this Khabouris Codex, was discovered in 1954. But, religious authorities rejected it because they didn't want to have to re-explain everything that they were teaching. So, here you go. Hallelujah. Okay, so that's the Khabouris Codex. And I have some links below this video where you can go and dig in on this much, much deeper. I don't want to go into it too much because it would just take far too long to cover all the points. But this book, it cost me $75 to get it, delivered to my door. $75, including shipping. And after looking it over, I think it's well worth the money. So there's links below the video. If you want to get your copy, you can. If not, and you have questions about this, you can ask me questions, and I'll be doing videos comparing the two. But even more importantly, there's links below this video where you can go and you can watch some videos, or you can even read some text on the web about the guys who put this together, and the validity and the accuracy of it all. Don't bother trying to argue with me about the New Testament being originally in Greek, because I would never argue it before. But here I'm so excited because now I have living proof that we have ancient manuscripts even 200 years older than the most ancient Greek manuscripts, and these are in Aramaic. Hebrew, same thing if you ask me. So, finally, I don't have to worry about that Western mindset that I keep referring to in the Watch Allen 101 series that I have here on YouTube. The Western mindset, how it just messes things up. And the Greek is Western mindset, where Aramaic, Hebrew, that's the original mindset that Elohim gave as he delivered his word to mankind. And that's the mindset that got skewed as much as 3,000 years ago, maybe even more. And this is why you see Yeshua yelling at the Pharisees, because they have they widen their tefillin, and they lengthen their tzitzit, or the techelet, the blue strings, are longer. They're focusing on the way things look. That's the Western mindset, and they've already lost the original mindset of Abba. That we want to focus on how things function, not on how they look. The other great thing about this is the guy who put this together, Roth, his name is Roth, last name is Roth. He's a Yehudi, he's a Jew, and he had trouble believing in Yeshua originally and in the New Testament, because he would look at the New Testament, he'd see Matthew 26, verses 6 and 7, showing lepers giving a dinner party. And that'll turn any Jew off. They're like, that can't be true. These kind of things do not happen with Elohim's people. He would look at Acts chapter 8, verse 27, where you see eunuchs in the temple, and he would go, these scriptures could not be written by Jews. And in terms of the lepers, giving dinner, in Matthew 26, 6 and 7, look at Leviticus chapter 13, verses 45 and 46, and you'll see why a Jew would shake his head at that. As far as eunuchs in the temple, seen in Acts chapter 8, verse 27, look at Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 1, and you'll see why Jews shake their head at that. In John chapter 8, verse 33, you see them denying the Exodus. Jews will shake their head at that. John chapter 7, verse 52, prophets did come out of Galilee. Matthew chapter 1, I recently covered the genealogy. Matthew chapter 1 has only 13 generations from captivity to nativity, when chapter 1 verse 17 commands 14 generations. Now, all these points that I just made are done away with in the Aramaic. They're all clarified, they're all written differently, and those mistakes are absent from the Aramaic. So, I just can't wait to do some studies in New Testament stuff with using the Aramaic. And I couldn't wait to share this information with you. Now I can read the word of Elohim, Old Testament, New Testament, all in Hebrew. Now, by the way, the Khabouris Codex is all in Aramaic, but it's the same alphabet as Hebrew. So Mr. Roth, when he put this together, originally he had it in the Aramaic, and some people were complaining. It's like, I'm more familiar with Hebrew. So this is these letters here are Hebrew letters, and I'm very happy about that because I'm learning how to read Hebrew. And the Aramaic is the same alphabet. They're all the same letters, but they're drawn more like ancient Hebrew. And there are two forms of ancient Hebrew. There's ancient Hebrew, which is the pictographs, which I'm in love with, because that's what Abba first gave. Let's see if you can see this. Over here we have the pictograph, and then the next column over to the right of that is ancient Hebrew, and then it's changed again, ancient Hebrew, and then way over here we have modern Hebrew, and they just kept changing things. It's just more of Satan's work, if you ask me. But nonetheless, it's okay. I understand, and I can get past it. So this is the Aramaic English New Testament, otherwise known as the AENT. And I like to think of it as ain't, because it ain't Greek. If you have any questions, let me know. Shalom Aleichem.